The God whose name is rendered Elkanah in the published versions of Abraham, chapter 1, verses 6, 7, 13, 17, 20, and 29, appears with variant spellings in the Kirtland Egyptian papers. In two of the manuscripts, it is always spelled Elkanah, as, did I put it here? Yeah, the second way up at the top. This is also the spelling in another of the manuscripts, where it was changed later to Elkanah. That was manuscript 4. Just prior to publication, it was changed from Elkanah to Elkanah, and that was the version that went into the published. I want to skip past, you don't need to know all the details about which each manuscript says. Here's where we want to go, though. This, to me, suggests that Elkanah, it more closely approximates the way Joseph Smith intended to transliterate it. Robert F. Smith noted that the form Elkanah seems to correspond with the form of El Kuni Irtza, El, the maker of the earth, which is found in a Hittite text. It's actually a Canaanite title of the god El, but it's in a text about Asherah. It's also known in Phoenician title Elkanah, probably, or Kone, whatever, Eretz, El, creator of the earth, together with the name Baal Shemayin, which means the Lord of heaven. So it parallels that in an 8th century manuscript from the Phoenician king Azitawada. The title clearly corresponds to the Hebrew El Elyon Kone, I can't read that, El Elyon Kone Shemaim Ba'aretz, which means the Most High God, creator of heaven and earth. It's translated possessor in the King James Version. That's from Genesis chapter 14, verse 19. And so the title has been around for a long time. Oh, I could have read it off there, couldn't I? It's a lot easier to read than it is here. The Hebrew name Elkanah is found in the Bible. It's a hyperchoristic form of the same name that we just mentioned, dropping off the ending element of it. The god El, head of the Canaanite pantheon, was identified by the Egyptians with the hawk-headed sun god Ra in their myth of Isis and Ra and Isis, rather, where he is also called Iripetta, maker of heaven and earth, the same title. The depiction labeled the idolatrous god of Elkanah in Abraham facsimile 1, figure 5, is the Egyptian Jackal-Headed God, who is associated with the east, where the sun rises. Indeed, the verb denoting the rising of the sun derives from this same root. John Lundquist has suggested another potential source of the name Elkanah, the Akkadian Dinger El-Gina. The dinger part is just what we call a determinative. It derives from Sumerian, and it refers, oh, he's going to bring me something to read by. And it refers to divine names. You don't pronounce it, though, actually, but it is written. No, this is worse. Blue doesn't help. Yeah, bring me a red one. Red one's the one they use, in the fighters, pilots at night, and all that, and the submarines. I've seen TV. I know what they do. Anyways, so here we have the same kind of name. The El part at the beginning is the same as El. It means God also. And so his suggestion was that this was the origin of it, this Akkadian name. Nibley noted the report from Bar Hebraeus, a medieval Jewish scholar who became a Christian, that in the days of Abraham's father, Terach, the Egyptians adopted Chaldeism and made an image in honor of Kinos, the idol. Kinos may very well be related here to Elkanah. The god Libnah is mentioned in Abraham chapter 1, verses 6, 13, and 17. The god identified by this name in Abraham facsimile 1, figure 6, is the falcon-headed Egyptian god who is identified with the west. Another Egyptian god, the jackal-headed Inpur, we usually call him Anubis in English. No, I don't. No, I was just kidding. I was just kidding.
We have a white one too.
He's got a white one. Okay. Who brings these things to a conference? Hey, this works. Talk to yourselves while I'm finding my place. Okay. Okay. Anubis, who is the jackal god, who is called the Lord of the West, and also Lord of the White Land. Probably white because this word, Libna, comes from a word meaning white. The jackal is a nocturnal prowler. He goes out by moonlight to find his prey, and so is often associated with the moon. One of the Hebrew terms for moon, as we see here, is found in several Bible passages, 3 of them. It's Levana, the feminine form of Lavan, which you normally read as Laban, the brother of Rebekah in the Bible. The same term, Levana, meaning white or moon, is used in the medieval Hebrew story of Abraham to denote the moon that Abraham studied in his youth. In the Bible, Laban is one of Abraham's great nephews, while the form Laban, from the same roots, is a place name in records found at Ebla, near Abraham's homeland. The Bible also mentions a Canaanite city named Libnah, which is also mentioned on a list of cities conquered by the Egyptian king Tvedtnes III. So it's well attested that we have here a moon god, if you will. Deriving from the same root is the name Lebanon, Levanon in Hebrew, which means white place, probably so called because of the snow that's atop Mount Lebanon. In the Zohar, a medieval Jewish text citing the Song of Solomon in the Old Testament, says of Lebanon that it should be rewarded, Levana, thou moon who receivest thy light from the sun. Julius Levy considered Lebanon to derive from the Canaanite moon god Laban, while John Lundquist drew attention again to an Akkadian god, Laban, same name. These gods didn't change much from one country to the other when they spoke similar languages that were related. Michael Aviona noted the variant forms of the name of Lebanon. Levanon in Hebrew, Libna in Phoenician, Labnanu in Assyrian, and Lablanu in Hittite. He could pronounce all those.